Good morning, everyone. I'm Shauna Monterey. I'll be your moderator for today's amazing panel. Please note that this panel is being recorded, so we can distribute it to you and to those who might not have been able to attend this webinar. We'll be sending you the link shortly after the webinar. So a little bit of background. So as an industry, we're starting to see an influx of emergency use authorization, RUO transitioning into clinical and IVD, software as a medical device, IVD, clinical decision support software. And we thought as a collective group here that with all the different guidance documents and standards such as pre-market submissions, verification and validation, ISO 13445, 62304, IC 62366, like you name it, it might be difficult for those entering the industry or even for those that are currently in the industry to know where to start. Like where do you start with all of that? So a few recommendations before we dive in that you can refer to later, some good references that we like to refer to. One is AMMI for those new to medical device. One of my favorites, my personal favorites, is 62304. But in addition to that, us here from a BeanStock perspective, we will be providing what we call our SOAR training, which is going to be regulatory specific to the software industry focused and taking that Agile approach to adhering to the regulatory requirements. Jama also has a lot of great tools and resources target for the medical device industry, and Agile quality systems offer customized training and consulting. As a follow-on, we will be sharing additional resources to help. There was a lot of questions coming in, a lot of topics of interest. It's just too much to cover in about an hour, so we'll do our best to give you kind of our bird's eye view of the current environment and the situation, and then we'll follow up with additional resources based on your interest. So before we start, I'd like to do a quick poll. It'll only take you a couple minutes, and I'm going to ask you about your experience with Agile and then software as a medical device. So I'm going to go ahead and start the poll. Okay, so I went ahead and started the poll. I did receive a question from the audience. Are we all muted? Everyone's muted. So we can't hear your background noise or your dog or your kids. so we're good there. But thanks for asking. We'll just wait a few more minutes. It looks like we're getting good responses here, 170 out of 203. So we'll just continue on until give you guys about another half a minute. Okay, so let's go over the results. I can share this with you. I don't know if you can see it on my screen. But we asked the question on a scale of 1 to 5, rate your experience with medical device guidance, standards, and regulations. So we have a 5% with little to no experience, 12% limited experience, average experience 32%, above average 37%, and expert 13%. The second question was on a scale of 1 to 5, rate your experience with Agile software development methodologies. So little to no experience, 10%, limited experience, 18%, average, 30, 32, going up and down, above average experience, 31, and expert experience, 8%. This is great. Thank you for providing this feedback. So now I'm going to go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves. I'm going to go ahead and start with Kelly. So Kelly, if you don't mind giving us an introduction. Oh, Kelly, I think you're
Hi,
muted.
everybody. Yeah, hi, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. I'm Kelly Weirock of Agile Quality Systems. I'm a consultant working primarily with medical device manufacturers and healthcare systems producers. I help organizations build and adapt their quality management system to be aligned with regulations and standards. And I provide Agile development training and coaching, both at the team level and at the enterprise level. And more commonly for me is the combination of the two, working with medical companies that want to bring Agile into their organization and align it with their quality system, which often has to change to adapt to Agile. We're going to be talking a little bit about that today. In addition, I was the lead author of a document we're going to talk about today, AMI TIR45, a guidance on the use of Agile development for medical device software. So we're going to be talking a lot about that document today. I was on the committee that wrote it. I was one of the primary authors, and I teach the course that Amy provides every year.
Thank you, Kelly. Adam.
Hi, good morning. My name is Adam Darmstadt. I'm the VP of Product Development at BeanStock Ventures. I'm responsible basically for all aspects of product developments with our clients. And we're trying to do this in a very iterative, agile approach. And some of my learnings I can share maybe as well.
Thank you, Adam. Clay.
Great, and hi everyone, I'm Clay Moore. I'm the VP of Customer Success for Jama Software. At Jama Software, we provide solutions for requirements, risk, and test management. My specific area of responsibility with customer success is professional services, as well as customer care. So I have responsibility for the folks who assist our customers in understanding the processes you're trying to use and then prescribing how we use Jama to facilitate that, and then the teams that provide the long-term care and support of your organizations.
Thank you, Clay. So throughout this panel, feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation. Please try not to use the Q&A. Please use the Q&A actually, and not the chat, so no one gets missed. If it goes through the chat, it's kind of hard to manage. If you put it through the chat, that's fine. We'll try to catch it. But please use the Q&A feature to ask your questions. Okay, with that, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. So there's a myth that Agile development is chaos and that requirements and designs are not required. How do we debunk that myth?
Well, I'll take that one right away. That was one of my first impressions of Agile when I was first exposed to it way back, even in the late 90s, before Agile was even the thing. We were hearing about these lightweight methods that just didn't sound appropriate to the medical device world. And we had some of these same misconceptions. Well, it's just flat out wrong. The Agile Manifesto talks about valuing some things over others, like working product, working software over comprehensive documentation. It's not saying that we don't need documentation. It just says that we value working software more. Of course, we have to have documentation when documentation serves an important purpose. So the idea of Agile saying we don't need that is just flat out wrong. So organizations that have applied that are just misusing Agile and need to learn better about how Agile is supposed to be applied. But then where that comes from is this reaction to what Agile was focusing on, was to try to get away from this heavy emphasis on documentation and rigor and processes that had gotten out of hand. So the Agile Manifesto is trying to encourage us to find the proper balance, not get rid of the discipline and documentation that we need, but to get a better balance between that and developing useful working products.
Thank you, Kelly.
All right, I'll go then. I'll jump in, Adam. Yeah, I totally agree with Kelly's perspective on that. It really does. It does matter with aligning this with a particular product or industry that you're in, and really focusing on delivering a working product. But at the end of the day, from a medical device perspective, the reality is requirements and design are required. The FDA clearly established the significance of design input activities. They said the requirements which form the design input establish a basis for performing those subsequent tasks and validation of design, and therefore the development of a foundation of requirements is the single most important device design control activity.
Thank you, Clay.